Don't be a lemon. Be a rosebud.
Behold the power of magnetism. What would your finishing maneuver be called?
The circumcision.
Follow the process.
Hello everyone and welcome to Let's Talk More Wrestling podcast. The wrestling podcast where more often than not we do review pay-per-views, and there was a humdinger of a pay-per-view over the weekend. And myself and Matt Marsander. You know what? It feels so weird to actually call you by your actual name on like the Let's Talk More Wrestling.
Yeah, without just coming up with something really big and intricate.
Yeah. I feel like I build myself up and then I'm like, oh yeah, I don't do them on the. I'll have to come up with something different, you know.
Yeah.
No
rush.
I say that and excuse me, I'm running out of ideas for like, the regular podcast. So anyway, we're rambling on. How are you doing, Matt?
Yeah, not too bad.
Since like the last 2 days of which we did the last episode of the podcast.
Yeah. Since then, nothing.
Nothing really happened. Except we watched the pay-per-view, and that's what we're going to talk about here.
That's about it.
Hell in a Cell, over the week in Dallas, Texas. As I said, it was a bit of a humdinger. I have to say this pay-per-view was pretty damn good, and the main event delivered on all of its promises. And that's the review. We'll catch you again next up. No, of course, we're going to go through the matches. Nah, of course not.
That's what I didn't like is like I was talking to a friend. It's like I thought it was an average pay-per-view. It's like what? Like I've only seen like the first 3 matches, and you say it's average.
Yeah, no. This was a good pay-per-view. And I tell you what, for as much as you and me. And we have pretty badly slated Raw over the last 4 or 5 weeks, really, haven't we? Really. And one thing I will say, though, WWE have made their pay-per-views feel like a pay-per-view should. Very good wrestling that you catch on the pay-per-view. And I applaud to WWE for that. Now, we haven't been able to say that much recently, but... since SummerSlam, Night of Champions was fairly decent. This was a good pay-per-view. They're on a pay-per-view roll, and God knows they need a roll of something in that company at the moment. So, Anyway, so Hell in a Cell, like I said, Dallas, Texas, happened on Sunday night. Like I said, this is coming out a little bit later, but with us being over in Europe, it's a bit harder to get these episodes out quicker for our American audience.
It's not like we can just go, that was a good pay-per-view. Turn TV off, turn PC on. By that point, it's just like, I am dead.
Yeah, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I've got kids that wake up at 6. I'm not going to live on 2 hours sleep to do anything.
Well, daylight saving, so it was actually at midnight.
Oh, okay, so 3 hours of sleep.
Oh no, we have no excuse now.
That's all our logic out the window. That's it. So we're going to go through the show match by match as they happened on the show, and we're going to go through our thoughts. Where they could go from here. Me, myself, and Matt haven't watched Raw yet, so we're going to keep that in our mind. So before you say, "Oh, well, actually, this happened on Raw," we haven't seen it yet, and we'll give our thoughts of that on the weekend. And if you're thinking, "Oh, your prediction's completely wrong," well, as we said, we haven't seen Raw yet, so we'll go with that. Talking of predictions, both of us sucked. We did very bad on this.
Terribly,
Terribly bad. And we'll go through the reasons why. I think maybe I thought with my heart rather than my head. Maybe the Randy Orton John Cena one is the biggest thing of that. Always pick John Cena in any match because 99 times out of 100 you'll be right.
Match Cena.
Yeah, that's
Damn it.
I thought WWE would go a different thing. Well, we'll get there when we get there. The opener of the show, which Matt tweeted about when he was watching it, Dolph Ziggler against Cesaro, had to be the opener. It was the obvious pick, really, to be the opener. The best out of 3 falls Intercontinental Championship title match.
Which was like really shocked because I was like, it's the best out of 3 falls. Like, since when?
Yeah, I think it was announced like a couple of days before. They didn't even reference it on Raw, did they?
They were like, because Cesaro got a win on Raw and Ziggler got a win on SmackDown, so it's now 2 out of 3 falls. It's like, cool, thanks for letting us know that.
Yeah. Not that I had an issue with it going into it.
Oh no, I was just like,
ooh, yeah.
Like 2 out of 3 falls. Oh, in which case I'm interested. Yeah. If I wasn't already interested, it now peaked.
Yeah. Now, I know you love this match. I loved it as well. I'm going to say something a little bit controversial here. I did expect a little bit more from these guys, I have to admit. And the match was great. I think it's because we've come to assume with Ziggler and Cesaro, these guys are, and WWE, at least on commentary, say this, the 2 best athletes, 2 best performers on the roster at the moment, right?
Yeah.
I was expecting them to go all out, and they did go all out to a certain degree. I think maybe it was because of the way it was booked, with Ziggler winning the match in 2 pins straight, clean sweep.
Yeah, I was sort of a bit shocked to see that Cesaro didn't actually get a pin.
Yeah, I mean, it robbed the match of a little bit of drama at the end, and I'm not a void of the fact of shocking the fans and making it go 2-0, but it is a little bit on Cesaro, it looks pretty bad, I have to say, considering there was one point in this match where Cesaro uses lifting uppercut, gets a 2 count, and I have to think back to Raw when he used a standing uppercut and got a complete 3 count, and Ziggler looked out for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Was a bit odd, that one, I have to admit. A bit of a booking consistency fail. I mean, that's only over a course of 6 days. It's not exactly great on WWE's part in terms of doing that. In terms of keeping things believable in that sense. Because we saw Ziggler get knocked out with a standing one. If you get flung up in the air and you get your head almost taken off,
drops onto an uppercut.
Yeah, exactly. You expect that to be much more devastating, but apparently not. Apparently it was easier for Ziggler to kick out of that one. But I know you were very happy with it, and it was the opener that that this show needed. It was still good.
How could you not have been happy with that opening match?
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, I was quite happy. It's at least it wasn't tag team.
I mean, that's what I say. I don't want people to think, oh, Tony's never happy. I thought this match was brilliant. I thought it did exactly what it wanted to. I was very happy to watch it. Very crisp, very clean. Liked it. But I mean, these guys have put themselves on a pedestal in terms of match quality, Ziggler and Cesaro, that maybe I did expect a little bit more. And maybe that's just the cynic in me, maybe going on from there. But you heavily praised this match all over the damn internet, you internet being you.
I can't just, I enjoyed the match, and it was definitely, and it was clean, and I loved the, there was that spot where Ziggler had Cesaro in almost like that front sleeper hold, and at that point Cesaro's but I can still climb a turnbuckle.
Oh, that spot.
Superplex. And it was huge.
It was sexy. There was
some height on it.
I'm glad as well when Cesaro was using the big swing here, and using very big power moves like that. That only bears well for him. But that being said, he gets beaten 2 pins to 0. Makes Cesaro look like a bit of a chump, really. These big matches come across, you can't even get a fall, on the guy. But we'll see where they take Cesaro from here. I very much doubt he'll do much for both guys, but come on, Ziggler against Cesaro is a good match. I'm going to take it for what it is. That's probably it. Nikki Bella against Brie Bella here. I thought this match a surprisingly competent match.
I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. We had a comment ages ago, that was someone talking about Brie Bella and Nikki Bella being maybe even better than what we believe are the 2 best divas on the roster, Paige and AJ Lee. Matches like this do well to back up that theory. We still don't subscribe to that theory personally, but it was alright. I thought it was okay. Considering, Nikki and Brie don't have a history of wrestling each other in the ring. They just don't. They've spent their entire careers tagging with each other. Training is different to actually doing it in the ring in a high-profile situation. I thought the thing is here with this match, while it was good, and I did enjoy watching the match, fans didn't seem to care that much about it. They were chanting JBL. And the thing about that is that, considering how the rivalry has been built up, and we've been hugely critical of the rivalry, I can't really blame them for not really caring about the match, even if it is good.
Well, the thing is, I still stand on the this is the booking of this match, and it's just it still sounds like just spoiled kids, and if you don't do it, you gotta be my slave. And I think that sort of tarnished a lot of it for me.
Well, that and all the awful segments that they had before then, I think that tarnished it. It never really got off the ground, did it, Nikki Bella, Brie Bella?
No.
Just started off bad and kept on going bad. Yeah.
Sort of struggled since the get-go.
That's it. Now, I expect with this rivalry that Brie... there was a segment later on with Brie getting a milkshake dumped over her head, or a slushy, or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Smoothie. I was thinking of the word. Dumped on over her head. So you can expect a lot of that going over the next maybe 2-3 weeks, and maybe Brie snaps. They have another match, which is, if I get beaten,
I'm out. I don't have to work for you.
Yeah. Along these lines. They're going to draw it out a little bit. Why? I just don't see. Brie is a face, and that's the reason why, of course, she was going to lose this match, which she did. By the way, I love the name of Nikki's finisher, the Rack Attack. There's no point hiding away from the fact you've got bigger boobs than your identical twin sister. Just run with it. I give her applause for that.
Did you not even notice that? She's gone with the name Rack Attack for that move for a while now.
Yeah, that's the first time I've noticed it personally. It's not as if she's in the ring every single week anyway. So
yeah, it's a fair point.
Yeah. So, yeah, surprisingly competent. Honestly, guys, man, you're not going to hear us say that often here on this show, on the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast, that you wouldn't mind seeing this match once. It would be fine. Honestly, you'd be entertained for the duration.
I mean, I think we can both honestly say we were wrong to just write it off on just the card. Like, the moment it's just like, Nikki versus Brie. I don't care.
I
still don't care.
Yeah.
I got more than I expected out of it.
Like 6 minutes, 5-6 minutes maybe. I don't know how long the match actually was. Of a decent match. Doesn't seem like a good enough payoff for all that awful television we had to get through, really, to me. So there we are. Goldust and Stardust against the Usos, tag team titles. This was a good match, but I think you're going to say the exact same as me. That unfortunately, because of the way that this rivalry has been booked the last 4 or 5 weeks, we've seen it all before.
Yeah, nothing new.
Yeah, exactly. It's and like I said, I mean, the match itself is very well executed, very clean. It has a clean finish, a finish that's satisfactory. But it's just we've seen Usos against Goldust and Stardust just too many times.
Yeah, like I don't think there was anything that they could actually have pulled out that would have actually brought a shock or like a wow factor back into it.
Yeah, I mean, one of their big wow factors is diving through the ropes, and I mean that's kind of been done to death at this point. Daniel Bryan opened up that whole window, and everyone's been literally jumping through it since then.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I agree with what you're saying. It kind of looks like they've taken it to the very pinnacle and beyond where it can go, and now it's on a downward slope. So hopefully now they don't go, okay, we've got no plans for these guys, because realistically, who they're going to go against now? There isn't really a great face tag team left for these guys to go against the champions. And where did the Usos go? Did they fall back into mid-table mediocrity when they've actually had a very good year this year? It makes you wonder, like, what, the lack of depth in terms of teams that they could go against isn't very good. That's just the blunt of it, really, unfortunately. Unless they
it's going to be Los Matadores.
It's going to be Adam Rose and his bunny. Yeah. No, I'd rather poke my eyes out personally, but there we are. So they keep hold of their cosmic key, but honestly, guys, if you've caught any of the matches leading up to this, you haven't missed much. If you missed this match, honestly, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
The first Hell in the Cell match: Randy Orton against John Cena. I named this the match that didn't need to be in a cell.
I named this the match I fell asleep.
Oh wow! The biggest insult in this show.
Terrible. Like, this is like 2 weeks straight, because wasn't it like on Raw? It's like, yeah, then there was Miz and Sheamus. Yeah, I fell asleep.
Yeah.
And now it's Randy Orton and John Cena in a cell. I fell asleep.
Yeah. Well, I would say...
I think it was like one of those, like, I faded in and out. I think I did catch everything, but I sort of slept.
When the crowd popped, your eyes opened, and then when it went back to mediocrity, you just kind of drifted back off into slumberland, shall we say. So did you get a good sleep, at least?
No, because then I woke up for Miz.
Oh, well, there we go. Well...
I think that's what I get for sleeping through a Miz match previously. I have to watch it.
Well, there was upsides to that match. We'll get into that obviously afterwards. But I watched all this match, and I have to say, it was largely, hugely forgettable, I think is the big word to state here. And I think it is a big shame that Cena does get the victory in this match. I thought that my prediction was Orton would go over. They've been building him up as maybe the new face to go against Lesnar or something along those lines, but then they went to the same card they always do. I would have much preferred seeing Orton against Lesnar at the Royal Rumble, which in its own way is a throwaway title match. We know Lesnar's not going to lose that match. It's just a throwaway title match. So why give us that with Cena again? That to me is played out. I've got no interest in Cena. Do you have interest in Cena Lesnar again?
No, I don't.
No.
The terrible thing is, like I saw a list of like everyone that Lesnar's faced since he came back, and it's like Triple H 3 times, Undertaker once, John Cena I think this would now be the fourth time he's faced John Cena since he's come back.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
Like
really?
One Big Show, one Henry, one Punk.
Yeah.
And then so like the greater proportion of his matches since Lesnar's return has been Cena. So
and it's going to be 3 of them back to back.
That's it.
And they had a chance to go with Orton. Just give Orton the chance. You could even have Kane come in and screw Cena out. They're even going with the storyline that Cena, I have seen some spoilers, that Cena will be having a Survivor Series match against the Authority. So it makes sense, he wants to get revenge against the Authority for screwing him at the title shot. Randy Orton then goes on this path to try and build himself up for possibly beating the Beast. It enhances Randy Orton. It gives us something else, that fans will get into. But now it's just it's like a little bit like ironic because we got Randy Orton against John Cena, which is the calling card of lazy booking, in my opinion.
Yep.
And then you go and give us more of the same, which is now Cena against Lesnar. I disagree. I thought that Randy Orton was a better pick, but Cena does get the victory with a attitude adjustment off of the turnbuckle through a table. So at least it was when you stack that up to the main event, that was tame, miles in comparison.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I saw a pretty good meme actually because this is kind of like a spoiler for Raw, but it was like Cena sort of just mentioning how he lost the chance to fight Rollins. He lost his opportunity to face Lesnar, but he got all of that back anyway.
Yeah, that's it.
It's like, oh no, I can't fight Rollins. Yeah, you can fight him the next night.
Yeah.
What?
It is a bit ridiculous, isn't it, really? But it's Cena. And I kick myself because every single time we do predictions, myself and Matt, we go by the one rule, it's John Cena. He's going to win. That's the way it goes. I just thought that they had more sense.
Versus what WWE thinks I want.
Yeah, I thought they would have more sense. I thought they would go with the fresher, more interesting option, and they decided, no, we'll just give you the same thing again. Because it's John Cena, he's high profile. I guarantee you, Vince had a very huge part in that forefront
decision. Yeah,
yeah, of course. I mean, we went through that in the episode over the weekend. We answered a fan question about NXT, and I brought it back to Vince McMahon that he's got his star, and he's got no interest in building up anyone else to be bigger than that star, even if it is organic. And that's Cena. That's his star. So there we are. But yeah, it is forgettable. No one's going to go back and look at the massive wars that John Cena and Orton have had inside of a cell, but they will look back and look at the war that Ambrose and Rollins had inside of a cell. And there's the two differences in the two matches there.
Yeah, definitely.
But the match shouldn't have ever been in the cell. I would have been more happy if this match wasn't in the cell. Maybe it was a singles match. Just get it over and done with quick. But it just seems so out of place to be in the cell. They're locked in this demonic structure, and it's like only 2 weeks into the rivalry or something like that.
Yeah. They looked into this. Yeah, it's just like they're only 2 weeks into a rivalry. Yeah, but they've been facing together for years. Oh God, you're going for that, are you?
You're going to remind us of that. Oh God. But yeah. See, Randy Orton, Cena. I mean, the only positive we can take from this, and I say this a little bit tongue-in-cheek because we'll get it again, is that we might not get Cena against Orton again for a while. I say that and I'm laughing already because we're going to get it again.
Yeah.
We're going to have Orton against Cena. Probably 10 years' time. We'll have them two running up the ramp almost half dead, especially Cena, the walking corpse as he's called. Still going against Orton for the 5 billionth time, and we'll still be here
for their 27th belt.
That's it. We'll still be here. We'll still be rolling our eyes, and our voices will be just a little bit more battered through years of podcasting. So there we are. The Miz against Sheamus, United States Championship. I would state this wasn't Miz versus Sheamus. This was the Damien Mizdow show.
This was the day where everyone looked outside the ring.
Yeah, they did exactly what Miz's last match was, which was, okay, let's not focus on the match, let's focus on Mizdow because he's highly more entertaining. And he was. I mean, the whole crowd were in hysterics. I was laughing at the guy. He is a wizard, is Damien Sandow. He can turn shit into gold.
Yep.
Get this guy to solve out the economy crisis across the world. He can literally turn shit into gold. That's what he's done here. And I applaud him for it. Fantastic stuff. But as we knew, Sheamus, bro kick, gets the win. Sheamus is protected at a far higher stakes than even some of the high-profile talent around him, even like the likes of Dean Ambrose, which we're going to talk about later. Sheamus very rarely loses any matches at all, but he'll have to dig around the Irish landscape to look for some sort of direction because he's still got none. So
yeah.
You know what? And even the Irish don't like him because I always hear my wife giving out that she doesn't like the guy. So.
Yeah, but she doesn't like the guy because he's a Dubliner.
Ah, but he's still Irish, and she's still Irish. It still counts. So there we go.
Yeah.
The rivalry of two counties, shall we say? But well, how did you find this match? 'Cause, I mean, you woke up during this match, so maybe.
I woke up before this match. I saw it all.
Okay. What do you think of Mizdow anyway?
It was all about Mizdow.
Mm.
And the fact that they even got a Mizdow's awesome chant. Get the match. Like, I wouldn't say the match was terrible, but Mizdow was better.
Yeah. To be honest,
and the fact that, I loved 10 beats of the Baron or whatever the hell it is. And he gets up onto the ropes and sort of bounces the whole way through it. It's just like I loved it.
Yeah. He seems to be outdoing himself, is he, Mizdow?
Yeah.
Every
I know. We
it.
were really negative on this whole Miz and Sandow situation when it first came around, but I'm warming to it mainly because just Damien Sandow is a true gentleman who can work with anything.
Yeah, as I said, he's a wizard.
Yeah.
he can change things. Like the one thing that, just to remind people, the reason why we were hugely critical of Miz and Sandow being paired together and this whole gimmick is because we know that Sandow's better, and our method of thinking is that look at what Sandow's done with a very bad gimmick, right? No one expected him to get this over with it, yeah? Look, what could he do then if you really gave him the time and the effort and you gave him something good, something that maybe he could come up with himself? Man, that guy could be one of your biggest promo givers on the roster. He could not only do comedy, but he could be like a very good heel on the roster. He could be so much.
Just simply enough, just bring back like the Sandow of old. I just want to have him come back and just sort of like I'm greater than you sort of gimmick back again.
Yeah. Well, I disagree with that. I think that gimmick is played out. Maybe if they had booked it differently the first time, but I think if you bring it back to that, people will lose interest because it's just going back to what didn't work,
Yeah.
in regards to that. But we don't agree with everything, I guess, on there, but that's fine. But yeah, man, the Sandow show, we'll call this match. Sheamus walks out with the belt, and as we said, he walks into whatever feud is just as boring as the last one he was in, essentially. Yeah, may continue to feud with The Miz, we just don't know. I think more than likely he will continue to feud with Miz, but there we are. Rusev versus The Big Show. Now, this match, I found, suffered because they essentially had a very conclusive ending to a Rusev Big Show match about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Rusev literally beat the guy, and then Mark Henry came in and caused the DQ. But when the match wasn't vague at the end of that, there were no questions, or was Big Show about to get out? It was very conclusive that Rusev had beat him. So I do think that this match suffered because of that. And the promo that they did last week with Rusev kicking the supposed soldier in the head didn't do much for me personally, but the fans were still into it. He's still hot. Is Lana? She's incredibly hot. I'm just saying.
To be perfectly honest, with Lana, it looked like she took like her outfit out of like a Barbie doll box set.
She did well. She got the blonde hair, long legs.
And what looks like some shiny pink jacket.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Rusev certainly ain't no Ken, though, is he? Russian Ken. But no, I didn't think this match was as good as the one they had 2 weeks ago. And I think, as I said before, partly because of the fact that, anyone here that knows wrestling, and, that we knew going into this that, of course, Big Show wasn't going to get beaten by Rusev. Now, when Rusev starts feuding with the likes of John Cena, well, we'll be worried. But when he starts going against other guys that we think, okay, they could give, maybe he goes against Roman Reigns or Dean Ambrose or something along those lines. We don't know. But, whoever gets that big win over him, that's when things are really going to start picking up business. And you could legitimately have Rusev as a main event match. if he's the one getting beat, because it would be a very good feel-good moment. Something that's been built up for since WrestleMania. So, but we knew Big Show wasn't the guy, so I think that a lot of the gloss had dissolved from the match.
I wouldn't say it was a terrible match.
Yeah, but
it played. However, it did play on the usual. Big Show, good. Take out his legs.
And a lot of the big moments from the match we had seen before, like that amazing drop kick. While it's still amazing, we had seen that at the match 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder why they booked that match 2 weeks ago. Really, and I said that back then. If they're planning on having another match at the pay-per-view, it just seemed a bit odd to me.
Well, they just give us everything, yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing I realised with this match is, like, whilst I said it's like it's standard Big Show, go for the legs. Big Show doesn't sell very well, does he?
No, not really.
He spent like a good 5 minutes on his back with his leg in various holds. Oh, he's up again.
Yeah, and not like hobbling around or anything.
Not really. Yeah, exactly. It's like, yep. Oh.
And you think
not in any pain? No. Nope.
You think with his size he would feel the pain more, but funny enough, selling has never been.
I guess it's because like the pain has further to travel in his nerves, like he just doesn't register it.
Doesn't register it, yeah. Big Show has long since dissolved of being this monster that's absolved from pain. His character is one that feels pain. He got destroyed here by Rusev. Because I'm thinking back to the days when they would do that sort of stuff to Andre the Giant, but he would just stand up and wouldn't even give a crap. But that was part of the gimmick back then. It was much easier to run that sort of gimmick. But Big Show isn't like that, and like I said, selling isn't a strong suit for the guy. You'll find with a lot of big guys, selling isn't a strong suit because they don't have to do it as often.
That's it.
Ziggler's a short guy that gets thrown around the ring. He's good at selling. Rollins, yet again, he's a smaller guy that would often be off the top rope and getting thrown around by bigger guys. He's good at selling. You don't think when you think of good sellers, the likes of Big Show, Undertaker, Kane aren't really in that list. But there we are.
Taker's relatively good.
He's okay, but he was bad in the early stage of his career.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
I'm not thinking of the time where he was booked not to even register that he was being hit, but back when he first started, even with the American Badass gimmick, and he was registering, when I get hit, I'm getting hit now. It took a while for him to adapt because obviously he hadn't had to sell throughout his entire career. So there we are. Paige against AJ Lee. This is in the dead spot here, just before the main event. The second women's match here. And you know what? I'm glad that the women are getting longer time. The Bellas match and the Paige AJ Lee match actually got a fair amount of time.
Yeah, both of them. It's not like, we have a 1 minute scrap and then we gave the other one 5 minutes. Everyone had each match had a fair bit of time. I'm
pretty sure now someone could probably say, it's just a little bit less now. I'm pretty sure at least both matches had at very least 5 minutes. And you may be thinking 5 minutes, that's not really a long enough time to have a really phenomenal match. And I would agree with you, but it's a step up.
If you're in a Divas divisions.
Yeah, but it's a step up from getting 30-second roll-up pins. And they were happening on pay-per-views. So I'll take this as improvement over that fact. And this match was also a very good match, I thought, between Paige and AJ Lee. A dirty little spot with Paige being dropped off of the side of the barrier. Looked like she landed that much worse than she previously intended, but that was part of it, part of all of it there. The whole plan of the match.
That's it.
AJ Lee retains. With this match, Paige was knocked out. Alicia Fox threw her back in before she was going to get counted out, but literally threw her into a Black Widow. So Paige tapped out immediately. Then Paige attacks Alicia Fox, or slaps her after the match, and then says, "I hate you," and walks off. So that's the end of Paige Alicia Fox. I'm hearing troubling stories about Paige, however. I don't know whether you heard about this recently. I don't know whether I should save this for the podcast this weekend.
It's not the angle they're going with on Total Divas, is it?
It is, yeah. Should we save it for this weekend?
Yeah.
We'll save that.
As you can probably hear already, I don't think my throat has it in me for that sort of rage.
I think more notes need to be done about that sort of stuff. And considering we talked about it, we said, it could be okay, and now it's like, nah.
It's like, oh, really?
Nah. But we'll get into that this weekend in regards to that unusual podcast. But Yeah, I like this match. I think it was okay, as long as these girls just get the hell away from each other. We need them not to wrestle each other anymore.
That's it.
There's a lot of rivalries like that. You look at the likes of Orton, John Cena, don't want to see them. Goldust, Stardust, Usos, don't want to see them against each other anymore. Paige, AJ Lee, don't want them to see each other anymore. There's a few rivalries here that we're just like, just move them away. They need to do something different. Doesn't matter what it is, even if it's something bad, they need to do something different because it's just getting repetitive and stale. And this goes under that bracket. I mean, how long have these girls been fighting each other?
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, bar the 3 months, maybe 2.5 months that Paige was a face champion with AJ Lee not around. They've been wrestling each other and feuding with each other non-stop. Whether they've been besties or hating each other, you know what I mean?
That's it. Oh, let's just give them a different opinion on each other. No, but it's the same. It's the same feud.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now they're friends, and it's like no, it's the same. It's the same match.
Yeah. They need to go in a different direction because it's played out. It's not so much it's bad. It's just played out. You just can't do any more with it, and you can tell that these girls have done it to its limit, almost like the Usos and Goldust and Stardust. It's not bad matches they're having. It's just they've done everything they can. And you're not meant to rival with someone for over 3 months. I think 3 months is too long, but these guys have been going for near on 4 months collectively. It's just too much. But hopefully now Paige may even begin to feud Alicia Fox, and now while that's not something I particularly want to see, it's something different. It's something that isn't this, feud. They need to go somewhere else. But yeah, again, here's the thing though, Matt. I mean, with all the people going on Total Divas, and yet the rule still stands, as far as we know, no Total Diva will hold the belt. Who does AJ go against? It's a very thin battleground for her. It really is.
I was thinking about it. I think Layla.
Yeah, you could do that. I mean, they had their little thing.
Because I think she's the only person who's not on Total Divas.
Well, her, Emma.
And Emma.
But yeah, I mean, it's Emma, isn't it? I don't. As far as I know, Kevin Dunn is very against Emma. And once you've got like a reputation where that was somebody, the main producer of the show, very hard to shake that, unfortunately. So
yeah, unfortunately, Kevin Dunn's sort of up on the same page as Vince.
Yeah.
Shut up and take a break.
Yeah, I mean, like
ride off into the sunset. Bye, Kevin.
Yeah, like Dunn is stayed there a long time, and he's made some bad decisions. In terms of just his work and stuff like that. But he stayed there because obviously he does have a rapport with Vince, and that's the way it goes, unfortunately. And Emma is one of the people that suffers from that because, as far as we've heard, Dunn doesn't want anything to do with Emma. If she's not on the show, that's fantastic. So, which is bad for her. And I did say with that incident that I was afraid it was going to loom over her for her entire career, and it looks like it's doing just that. What a shame! What a talent missed. Really, it really is. Can you have Emma against Paige on the main roster? Just do a carbon copy of the NXT match. Just do that.
That's it.
Come on, that's all we want to see.
I got recently introduced some friends to NXT, and I was like, for a start, you'll never see women's matches like this on Raw.
No, outright.
And then I was like, if you ever thought Tyson Kidd was a pussy, think again.
Do you ever think he was irrelevant? Man, he's relevant on that fucking show, but nah, it's the Void has sucked them up in the main roster. Even Paige, she hasn't had a world-class match since arriving on the main roster. And while this was very good, and I did enjoy it, it's still not world-class. It's 5 minutes isn't enough time to give you a really world-class match. 15 minutes, yeah, definitely, but 5 minutes, nah.
No.
You can even do a world-class match in 10 minutes if you're someone as quick as Ziggler or something like that, but no, not 5 minutes. Ambrose against Rollins in the main event. Now, I was very happy to find that obviously John Cena and Randy Orton wasn't doing this. Excuse me. I had stated if John Cena and Orton finished the show, I wouldn't watch it. So,
that's it.
And I would have stood by that, and I wouldn't have missed that much. So, there we are. But Ambrose Rollins filling the show. I don't know about you, Matt. This felt like a big fight. A big fight feeling.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
WWE liked to spout that a lot, didn't they? But they like to spout it a lot when Lesnar's in the ring, more often than not, or maybe Rock and John Cena who said that. But it felt like a main event. It really did with Ambrose and Rollins.
Definitely. And I love that it's just like, we're going to start this match off. Well, let me just load the ring full of toys, and then I'll meet you upstairs.
Yeah. I'll go on the top bunk bed. That's how it works.
That's it.
I have to say, before we talk about what happened in the match, this match is the best Hell in a Cell match of the recent era. Flat out.
Easily.
And it was almost instantly memorable. I have to give kudos to both these guys. It made me think, walking out there, just from them walking out there, that they were looking at this match thinking, this could be the beginning of me getting to the next level of my career. I'm going to show them why I'm main event. Why I am the guy to close the show. I think the pair of them did spectacular. Really
definitely.
Now, the spots in this match, there is one big spot that people will be talking about for the rest of both of these men's careers. We didn't get people getting thrown off the cell. That will never happen again. But
they fell off it.
Yeah, I think you got as close as you can get, in the current era, to what you get which is both men bashing each other on the halfway point of the cell to the point that both of them fall and go through their respective announcement tables. It was a what the hell moment, and I firmly believe that video, that image of both of them falling off the cell is going to be one of the calling, maybe in 10, 15 years time we'll have Ambrose inducted or Rollins inducted into the Hall of Fame. They'll do a Hall of Fame video. I guarantee you that spot will be in it. That spot will be one of the bits they do in it as one of the earliest moments where we're like, wow, these guys are going all out. And I have to give them applause for doing it.
Definitely. I just love the whole opening part of it as well, where it's just like sort of trying to send Mercury and up to go get. It's like, go get him. It's like, no.
The one thing I would say about this match that really made me smile is, as you say, the first half of the match. Yeah, I can probably say first half of it because there was a lot of it. Took place on top of the cell, and obviously through the two tables. So the match technically hadn't started. So when they had got back into the ring, battered and bruised and fighting off gurneys to get back into the cell, when the bell actually rang, a massive cheer went around the whole of the arena. That it was continuing, and I love
because it's like now it's go time.
Yeah, and I knew WWE wouldn't do it. In fact, they were the match itself was a sort of homage to the Mick Foley match. They went off the cell. They were both put on stretchers. They went out, but no, the rage is too much. Doesn't matter how much they've been battered. They get off the gurneys. That happened all in the Mick Foley Undertaker match.
Yep.
That you refused medical attention, continued the match regardless. It did, a lot of it is the same, in regards to that. But if it's not broken, don't fix it. And we haven't had something like this in a long while, I think. It was a blood feud, and it ended like a blood feud. This is one match that I wish, just once, that they would allow them to be busted open for.
Yeah.
Because
it's just like the one sort of match where it's like, do you know what? I think this deserves colour.
Yeah. Can you have had the amazing image, violent as it would be, and I know why they didn't do it, but the amazing image where you had Ambrose literally we had it earlier on in the match where apparently Randy Orton was rubbing John Cena's head into the chain link, but it was barely moving it didn't look painful at all. Fucking hell, Ambrose was scraping Rollins' head all across that. Imagine that with a crimson mask. That would have been a hell of a visual to be able to see.
That's it.
But take it for what it is, and not as if we're expecting these guys to get busted open. But yeah, I think this is a match. If I had to pick a Hell in a Cell match that you want to watch in the last 5-6 years, it's Ambrose Rollins.
This is it. And you know what? Just the use of the tables as well.
Yeah,
I thought was great.
And it wasn't as if Rollins didn't get any offense. He got his fair share of offense in this match.
Oh yeah. It's like, you want to set up a bed of chairs? Sorry, Ambrose, but you're going on it.
Yeah. I thought... So, in terms of the match, I don't want us to go on too long, obviously, but in terms of the match, I thought it was fantastic. I honestly give it 5 stars. I think it felt like a main event. It felt exactly what a Hell in a Cell match should feel like.
Yeah.
It felt big time to me.
That's it. And especially considering it's like, that's it. That's the story, come to the conclusion.
Yeah. Now, it didn't end in a satisfying conclusion. We're going to go into that now. Here we are. So, end of the match. Looks like Ambrose got it won. the lights go out, and some very cryptic chanting, I think is probably the best word.
Like sort of speaking in tongues or something.
Yeah. And, I knew from there on it was going to be Bray Wyatt. That comes back. I said that more than likely you'll be coming back either at the pay-per-view or on Raw. It just turns out he came back at the pay-per-view.
But why get in the way of this match?
Yeah. Now, there's one very easy thing they could have done the same. So Wyatt costs Ambrose the match. Uses his slat. His kind of standing rock bottom on him, essentially.
Do you know the one thing I loved? Like, I loved the whole bit though.
Like the hologram,
urn not the urn, the lantern just in the middle of it, and just the smoke just billowing out. And I was just like, this is good.
It was an incredible visual, and I don't disagree that should have been done. I thought that was fantastic, but why not do that after after Ambrose gets his revenge and beats Rollins?
Yeah,
and maybe he sets up Rollins for something that would end his career, and then that's when the lights go out. The reason I say that, right, is because now Ambrose is a loser. Yeah. And now losses and wins at times don't matter. JR says that all the time in his podcast. I disagree when a guy constantly loses, and when it gets to the moment where he should have his big moment, doesn't get it.
Yeah.
So
it's got dicked over at the final hurdle sort of thing.
Yeah. Now, I like to look into the future, because a lot of people are saying, just come on, we're getting Ambrose against Wyatt. That's going to be amazing, right? I agree. Probably will be amazing. Probably will be some of the most entertaining parts of Raw in the next 4-5 weeks, and the pay-per-view coming up.
Promo off.
Yeah. You're gonna have some good TV, right? My issue is, I love both guys. I want both guys to be main event. One thing that people should take away from this, I believe both Rollins and Ambrose should be considered main event from going forward, because this match was so good. Okay.
Yeah.
However, Ambrose lost the match, doesn't get his redemption, okay? And now he's going into a rivalry with a guy who's returning after being a loser himself. We technically have two losers going against each other, and someone's going to have to continue to be the loser.
Yeah, and it's a dangerous place to be in.
Yeah. Now, there's two ways this can go. Wyatt will face Ambrose. He will beat Ambrose, in which case Ambrose is one hell of a loser because he can't seem to beat anyone, whether it be Rollins or Wyatt or Randy Orton or whoever he fights. Yeah, he's crazy, he's unhinged, but he can't beat anyone. Alright? Or Wyatt loses, which is like crazy, and the guy can't win a match even when he's being rebooted, technically. It's just, to me, someone's going to come out of this looking bad, and I don't want either guy to come out looking bad. And they're not in their stage. I still think that, while I say that Ambrose is main event, and I do think that he can pull off a good main event, he still needs a little bit of protection. He's still not established, in that sense that like he can keep losing matches, and people will eventually be like, well, this guy ain't gonna win jack shit.
It's gonna be Ryback sort of syndrome.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, all the way. Oh, is that the title's so close? You can just you ain't getting it.
Yeah, Ryback lost 13 pay-per-views in a row.
Something like that.
Ridiculous. Now, I don't think they'll do the same for Ambrose, obviously, but if he keeps losing these rivalries that he's involved in, it's not going to look good on the guy.
Yeah.
It really isn't. And I think it could be very easily fixed, because I believe if Ambrose had pinned Rollins, it doesn't take that much off of Rollins. He's going to head into a rivalry with Randy Orton. He's going to do his thing there. That's fine. He's still Money in the Bank. But I lost.
Now Orton has nothing.
I lost here to Ambrose. Now, I think does damage him. Doesn't matter where he's going. People are going to look at the fact that he didn't get his big moment.
That's it.
Some people, like I said, some people are disagreeing, saying, look at where this is going, and I look at the other point. Yeah, I'm looking where it's going. One of these guys that I think will be fantastic is going to end up looking like a loser, and I don't want that to be the case. And like I said, either way, it just doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
But you know what? A part of me also says there could be some way that WWE does manage to do very well with this. But that part of me has dwindled a lot, because me and you, Matt, since we started this podcast, have seen a gradual decline on their ability to really give the fans what they want. And it's not, you don't have to swerve us at the end of this match and do this. Give us what we want, and then give us something else that we want.
That's it.
I thought it was very easily fixed by just having Ambrose get the victory. Just making him get the pin before Wyatt came in. I mean, to Wyatt, why would he care that Ambrose gets the victory beforehand? In storyline, you wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
All he wants is to attack Ambrose and tell him, you're mine now. It doesn't matter what you had before, you're mine. You know, this is what's going to happen. I will dismantle you, and I'm sure they'll go into loads of this other stuff, right? But that doesn't sit well with me. What about you? Like, are you a little bit more in favour of the way they did it, or are you like me? Are you just like, come on, guys?
I wanted to win.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly it. It's like, because now it's like the fight, the story, the whole thing just led to like, yes, yes, yes. Oh, what the fuck? I love it. But I am in sort of like the same boat as you, where it's like, oh, someone's going to be a loser. But I guess eventually we'll have to come across this path sooner or later.
Yeah.
But it's, I wanted just the pin. That's all I wanted.
Yeah. You wanted the satisfying conclusion.
Yeah.
It'd be different if Ambrose had won, and Wyatt had been treated much more fairer than it was before he went on his month hiatus, and he's now been rebooted, as I call it.
Yeah.
And he was thought of as a guy that could win matches. But these two guys now come off of both of them come off of a big feeling of loss over them. Bray Wyatt could barely win a match to save his life at the end of his run recently. And Ambrose now couldn't even finish off his rivalry with Rollins. He comes out looking like a bit of a mug.
That's it. Just the chump.
Yeah. It was a bit of a shame to end the show in that fashion. But I did love the visual. The whole visual of him going through the smoke, the hologram, you know, everything involved in that, I thought it was still very, very good. I just disagree with where it's going to go now. That's my opinion. And like I said, I want to be able to hold out my opinion, but it's hard to stay upbeat when WWE's track record with this isn't exactly stellar.
That's it.
But there we go with that.
But we'll have to see, because it seems WWE are on a path of the reboot at the moment.
Rebooting everything.
So I don't know if you've seen Who Turns Up at Raw.
No.
Feed me more.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, his time has passed, but we'll see how it goes on from there. We'll talk about that at the weekend, obviously. But that's Hell in a Cell in a nutshell. I personally thought, with all that little bit of stinging little of annoyance at the end of the show, and some bits here and there that weren't too great, you know, some matches that we've just seen before, Goldust, Stardust against the Usos, Paige, AJ Lee. There wasn't a bad match on the show. Even Randy Orton and John Cena, while it was forgettable, was still okay. It was still alright.
It was sleepable. Yeah.
And like Rusev against Big Show, as I said, it wasn't good as the match I had 2 weeks ago, but it was still an okay match. It was still I don't want to say very good, it was still good. I think top to bottom, this is an extremely healthy pay-per-view, and the main event delivered on so many fronts.
It would have been worth the money.
Yeah, I'll give the show a thumbs up. That's all we do here, is tell you whether it's worth watching or not, whether it's worth purchasing or not. I give you a thumbs up. Honestly, the money is worth it for the main event alone. It will not disappoint you. I promise you that. But the rest of it is good. You know, the rest of it is good wrestling. And the Authority did
solid.
It was good because the Authority did very little to get in the way of that at times. You know, so.
I was going to say, was the Authority even there? But yes,
they had a few segments. They're bound to. It's the Authority. And if they do open up,
turned up out of nowhere with a fire extinguisher in the main event. Yeah, that was really confusing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, it's Kane! It's like, and that was it.
He looked bored doing it, funny enough.
It's just like, I'm sick of this shit. I've done nothing all night.
Let's go interfere in a match.
Bye! Yeah.
But yeah, if they remember, I did say that if the Authority open up next week, I'm going to go through every episode of Let's Talk Wrestling, see how many times the Authority had opened up the show, and do an average and the longest streaks that they've had in terms of opening up the show. So this Monday, well, the Monday past, people already know technically if they've already watched it. If I will actually go back and do that for the 50th episode, so that would be interesting. But yeah, I give this a thumbs up. I really do. I think this is a very good pay-per-view. especially when you stack it up to a lot of the others on the year, and especially pay-per-views in recent years. Yeah.
It's been very solid.
Very solid, yeah. And WWE are on a roll with their pay-per-views. Let's hope it continues.
I can't afford it at all.
I get this stinging sensation it will end at Survivor Series, but...
Nah, we'll find out.
We shall see.
That's next month.
That's next month, yeah. We've got plenty of episodes. We've got the 50th episode, which is our big episode in just over a week. And then we've got our year anniversary, 2 weeks after that. So we're going to have them in the space of the lead up to Survivor Series. So lots to go on with this podcast. If you did enjoy the Let's Talk More Wrestling podcast, this is where we let our hair down a little bit. Our regular podcast is on the weekends. Subscribe so you can catch that. Go back and watch last week's episode where we did our predictions and fan feedback, fail of the week. We review every segment of Raw. And... we'll just, if you were to subscribe, I know we've had new subscribers, we're about to break 30, not 30, 130, 130 subscribers, so we'd love for you guys to be a part of that. That'd be great. And, if you feel like supporting us even further, then you can, share us all over social media. If you want to ask any questions, and they may get featured on the weekly podcast, leave a comment here. If you want to get a much quicker response, you can tweet us at TalkWrestlePod. Matt handles all the Twitter. Man, I'm getting into the groove of things in terms of plugging Twitter.
Do you know, we're watching too much Jericho podcast recently, so I'm half expecting you to go, on that Twitter!
On that Twitter! Just get my cowbell on, So, yeah. That's all the plugging there for you guys. We do hope that you enjoy it. Let us know what you thought of the pay-per-view, whether you thought it was a good purchase or not, and what matches you enjoyed, and what you thought of that ending, that controversial ending. But apart from that, we'll catch you again over the weekend. Give you more audio goodness. Like I said, fail of the week. We'll give you another one of them. We might have a topic, or maybe a we were wrong, we were damn wrong. Who knows? You could have loads of stuff around the pack shows as usual. But apart from that, as we said, we hope you have a great week, and we will catch you all at the weekend.
See you around.
Right, thanks a lot, guys. Bye bye.
Bye.